Good evening, sim racing fans, and welcome to our second half of this Friday night doubleheader. It's the Super Speedway Series getting set here at Talladega for the Stars Fell on Alabama 250, right here on LSRTV and iRacing Live. And joining me, Andy Kessler, up here in the booth, of course, is Gabriel Wood, and our executive producer, Cisco Scaramuza, down in the production trailer. And Gabe, we're set for our second half of the doubleheader. We're in for a long haul here tonight, 250 miles here at Talladega, and we got the best of the best as far as the sim racing world is concerned when you come to these super speedways, the Super Speedway Series, and they're getting set to get another race in this long season underway. And in fact, it's race number 6 already of this season, and these guys obviously looking forward to getting things done. Last week, of course, we had the first ever cumulative race where we had 3 races, and the driver with the most amount of points in those 3 races came out as the victor. And of course, that being last week was Casey Malone in the 52, a rookie. So we've had back-to-back rookies get it done here in the Super Speedway Series. A couple weeks back at Talladega, Sean Bounty came home with the victory. And then, of course, last week, Casey Malone in that 52. Can we see another first-time winner? We got to see our first 2-time winner of the season here tonight. That can only be said after 250 miles. And we've done a lot of Daytona races over the last couple weeks here on LSRTV, Gabe, and I know you've been a part of a bunch of those. But we're still at a super speedway, but at least we get to change it up just a bit here at Talladega.
Yeah, we're here at the high banks of Talladega. We go from 2.5 miles to 2.66, and that last 0.16 of a mile, that affects a lot of finishes. You've said, Andy, if we're going to get a first-time winner, we're going to get another, 2 or more time winner, just a repeat winner. But, down that middle of the front straightaway, many people have won the race. But the start-finish line is closer to turn 1, and a lot of moves can be made. And we saw it during the elimination races or the preliminary races last week with the Super Speedway Series. A lot of close finishes coming toward the line, side by side, guys able to get the run. So yeah, and it's everybody's race. And I think finally with this new draft model, they updated it again a couple weeks ago, and I think they're able to get the run a lot easier coming off of turn 4.
Yeah, most definitely. And like you said, with that start-finish line being so much further down the racetrack as opposed to Daytona, it makes for some awesome finishes. We've seen 3 and 4 and sometimes five wide battles coming to the line. So hopefully we'll see that again tonight. And of course, it all happens after 250 miles. So a lot of chess playing, high-speed chess we'll see here over the course of the night. Quick look at our championship standings after round number 5, and Josh Ball continuing to lead the series right now. Hasn't gotten a win yet this season, the former champ, but he is sitting there 7 points atop Sean Bounty and Paul Servant. So we got a rookie right there, Sean Bounty, making his first ever go at a championship in the Super Speedway Series. And we saw him get that win 2 weeks ago. We noted just a moment ago, another guy like this, when you come into these races and there's so much can happen at these tracks, they do it week after week after week. But to do it and to be consistent and to finish up in the top, in the standings, it takes a lot, and it takes a lot of luck too. So we'll see that obviously as the course of the season progresses as well. Of course, you win and you're in the chase that comes down at the end of the season for that championship, and we'll get hopefully another winner and another guy setting his way into the championship. But we'll take a peek right now at tonight's LSRTV starting grid, and on the pole, this is all registered from the qualifying that these guys did over the course of the week. Paul Servant coming home with the top spot. He will lead us to the green flag tonight. Ray Rittenauer is going to start in that second spot. Third goes to Corey Henry. Rod Flagg is going to start outside of row number 2, and starting 5th will be that 21 of Glenn Hedrick.
Everybody littered out through this field that were in that Truck Series race. Guys like Christian Peterson in that 71 and 6th position. Mark Jorgensen was not in there. He's going to qualify in the 7th position. 8-year winner from Charlotte just a couple minutes ago, Seth the Merchant, Dana Osborne. And that's in the 10th position, Alex Hallinar. Saw him having a big wreck at Charlotte. He's going to hope to have a better race here at Talladega.
Rodney Wofford, the all-time winningest Super Speedway Series driver, is going to roll off in that 11th spot. 12th goes to Andrew Berger. William Roberts will start in that 13th spot. 14th will go to Ramon Evans, and last week's winner, Casey Malone, will start 15th.
Daniel Ferguson in the 25 starts 16th. Matt Quick in the 17th position. Justin Anderson in the 77 and 18th. David Anderson in 19th. Chris Pisani in the 20th position.
Josh Ball, former champ, will start in that 21st spot. 22nd goes to Sean Turner. Kyle Manger will start 23rd. Frank Busilia, 24th, and 25th will be Chad Keene.
26 goes to the 20 of Derek Walker. Greg Hooks in the 98 will start 27th. Sean Bounty in the 34 and 28th. 29th goes to Tommy Hall, and Brandon Monsavias in the 30th position.
As the rest of the starting lineup goes across the screen at the top of your screen, we'll get set to get this underway. And Gabe, we see it week in, week out with these guys at the super speedways. It's anybody's game, but there's always some top players week in and week out. And a couple of those guys starting closer to the front than normal, and that's on the high side there. You got the 71 of Christian Peterson and Seth the Merchant in the 32. Those two teammates looking to get things done here early on. Those are two guys you'll see work together quite a bit when they have the opportunity, and they tend to give each other that push they need towards the checkered flag when everything is said and done. Well, we get set 94 laps here on the docket for tonight's race in the second half of our doubleheader here on Friday nights on LSRTV, and the pace car hits to the safety of pit road, but there it is, that long wait to that anticipation to that green flag, and finally it's going to wave here as we get set and underway. And top spot right there on the board, that 14 of Paul Servant. Got a pretty good jump outside, going to be able to hang with him. That's Ray Rittenauer in that number 87 Pittsburgh Penguins machine there, as the bottom side right now starts to pull away. Corey Henry giving that shove to Paul Servant as they exit turn number 2.
Inside that bottom lane formed just a little bit better. You got Rod Flag on the outside, pushing Ray Rittenauer. Look at him. He's working his way up to the front. He's side by side for the lead. Now he's got a fender, so we got a new leader going down the back straightaway. That can change. Will he pull down? He's not cleared just yet. Either he's going to wait for that 26 to fall in, or he's going to wait for him to clear, but that momentum's pulling that 14, the 12, and the 21, the 88, all there on the bottom side of the racetrack, followed by them, the 8. That is Dana Osborne, so he's up from the 9th position. He's still in 9th, or he's up there around there. And who's going to lead the first lap as they come to the flag? 12 ducks down, 14 side by side with the 87. One led, 93 to go.
93 to go is right, and everything pretty settled out right now. You talked about the draft package earlier on. The draft package has been that top side as long as they can get hooked up there on the exit of turn number 2 or turn number 4. That top side has been typically been given the advantage on the racetrack, and right there you can see how Rod Flag wasn't able to get to his back bumper off of turn number 2, so that top side did not prevail for the time being. Everything 2x2 all the way out throughout this field. Some pretty good racing early on. We'll also see as this race goes on and as these tires start to wear out, we'll see these guys start getting real tight through the corners. You'll start seeing them push up the racetrack just a bit on corner exit, so we'll have to keep an eye on that as well as we continue going on. But Paul Servant, he's led the first 2 laps right now. That bottom side so far has been the place to be.
Yeah, it looks like that outside lane's just making their move at the wrong time down the back straightaway, and 26 just can't get into the bumper in turns 3 and 4, so that inside lane just pulls around. Very quick cars there. Basically everybody's in their qualifying position from where they started. A couple of teammates there on the outside lane, the 71 and the 32, kind of separated, but here he comes again. He's got, looks like the 54, I believe, or 64. That's the 64 of Alex Halliner right behind him. That outside lane forming up, but here comes that inside lane yet again. So we're going to have to wait a couple laps to see that outside lane start working like we're used to if they can get enough cars up there. And they've certainly got it, but that inside lane's just got the shortest way around the racetrack.
And sometimes that shortest way is the way to go. Is a 3 wide, a little further back around that 12, 13 spot right now. The 25 got pushed up out of the racetrack. That's Daniel Ferguson. He's going to fall back now with no drafting help. Give that spot that he had to the 77 to Justin Anderson now, as it looks like the 25 will be able to fall back in line, but not without losing a bunch of positions. Bottom side, they're getting the job done here in the early going, as we see the field kind of have 2 little packs that kind of separated themselves just a little bit. Looks like the second pack is going to be able to catch back up a little, but that third, there's a small little pack of 5 cars, and there's another third pack just behind them. They've actually been able to get single file, and they'll be able to get themselves back up into contention right now. But that front pack still getting the job done right now. As you can see, the 87 of Rittenauer get pushed out of the way. The 12 of Corey Henry was able to move up to the top side after pushing Paul Servant around this racetrack for the first 4 laps. He's going to switch it up a bit and go to that top side now as Rittenauer still continues to fall, but they're side by side still for the race lead into turn 3.
I think we got a small wreck behind the lead pack. Somebody got spun to the apron. Apparently, no caution triggered.
Yeah, it looks like the 11 of Kelly Dahl was the unfortunate one there.
Fortunate for Kelly Dahl, running looks like in the 31st position at the time, right around there. Gets caught up, gets spun. Got the replay for you, Andy.
He made some contact with the 51 of Jason Altman's right there, coming out of turn 2. Not too much, a little bit of damage maybe to that 11 car, but definitely not something he wanted to see this early in the race, and something obviously now losing the draft, it's going to be tough for him to make up those spots. Paul Servant, though, continuing to get the job done on that bottom side, even though Corey Henry moved up to the top side. He's trying to get Rod Flagg to help him, but that 21 of Glenn Hendricks been looking real strong here into early going, and he's gotten right up on that back bumper of that 14 Oreo machine, and he's really giving him the push that he needs right now to lead this thing and continue to lead this as the front pack still continues to separate itself just a little bit after you get past the 99 of Kyle Manger. We saw him have a pretty decent run going on in that truck series up until the end. He ended up getting caught up in one of those late race wrecks that we had just a little while ago right here on LSRTV. So little separation outside him, but Derek Walker leading that second pack. They'll catch up here. It won't be too long as they can separate themselves and get single file.
Yeah, I've only got 2 cars there on the outside lane, so they should be able to catch them. Or at least 3 cars now. That final car on the outside, that's Sean Bounty in the 34. They should be able to catch him, even running too wide like this, as long as they just don't start racing each other. It should work pretty well for them. Very big pack of cars up in front of them. 20 cars exactly with the 99 of Kyle Manger, the last car. But these cars are punching a huge hole in the air, and the 20, the 99, the 4, all these guys able to kind of ride in that. And it looks like we got a change for the lead. Glenn Hendrick going to the lead.
Yeah, we did. He actually he was able to push Paul Servant way up past Corey Henry. He moved up to the top side, got the push from Corey Henry coming off of turn number 4. That gave him the advantage. He was able to pull down in front of Paul Servant. So that'll give him that as we go on board. And you can see that view from these cars. And it's just amazing that when you're watching them, it doesn't give it justice for the type of speed. They were going into that corner over 200 miles an hour. But when you're watching it on the screen like you are, it doesn't, it looks like, obviously they're all going the same speed, so it doesn't look like they're going that fast. But in reality, they are going that fast, and things just happen so quickly here. It's tough to react to anything, even a bobble, a guy changing lanes. It all happens so fast right now. But Glenn Hendrick, once he's got up there, he's worked real well so far with the 14.
Yeah, Andy, talking about the speed, I heard some guys talking about, the
Double.
71, look, 77 gets turned, a couple cars up on the wall, big wreck.
Yeah, the 77 involved in that, Justin Anderson, we talked about him moving up a couple spots. The 94, Frank Busilia was involved in that one too. So our first caution of the night here comes on lap number 9, and it looks like that bottom side just checked up. Looks like one car got into the apron. Maybe it could have been the 88 maybe. Might have started that, checked up that bottom side, and like I just mentioned just a moment ago, one little bobble, one little lane change, everything happens so quickly here that it doesn't take long, and you end up with a mess like that and a whole bunch of cars with damage.
Yeah, that wreck pretty much interrupted our conversation because I was just about to say same thing I'm going to say now. I heard a couple of NASCAR drivers earlier in the year, I think it was last year, say a perfect analogy. It's like driving on the interstate. Everybody's going the same exact speed. It seems normal. But as soon as you see somebody on the shoulder of the highway going 10 miles an hour or the 20 miles an hour and somebody's just slow, everybody freaks out because it's such a difference. That's the same thing here. Even a 10 or 20 mile an hour difference is absolutely going to, scare the pants off of you, really. Just seeing somebody coming up through the pack and, you're going to have to split every which way. And what is it? You cover a football field in just a couple seconds with these cars or even a second. So it doesn't take much to get in the back of somebody.
No, it really doesn't. I'm actually watching this go on here, and or watching the replay myself, and all this stuff happened behind our race leaders, but yet I'm looking at, and I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I'm looking at that 21 car, and I see a lot of damage to that car in the front end, and it must be just me, but yeah, some glitch or something in the thing, but because it's showing him without a hood, so it's kind of hard with a race leader when wasn't involved in that to have some damage, but it looks like everything's fixed now, at least on my screen now. Pit road's open though. Leader's obviously going to come down pit road, and we talk about grip hanging onto these things. It will be no surprise for most of these guys to take their 4 tires. I'm there for the 21 though. Yeah, he slid right through it. Actually went into Rod Flagg's pit stall. So big mistake for that 21 after leading this thing. And looks like a couple guys might take 2 tires for most of these.
Everybody's taking 2 tires.
Yeah, most of them taking 2 tires. So a lot of guys, looks like Ray Rittenauer actually might have stayed out there that time, maybe to get a lap led or something. But already, what usually comes into fruition with these races, as Rittenauer did stay out probably to lead a lap, but what usually comes into these is a fuel mileage race, especially when you talk about these long endurance races, 250 miles. A lot can happen. I mean, track position's huge, Gabe, at the same time, but don't want to be that one guy that doesn't have enough fuel to make it a full fuel run.
Yeah, even one caution, especially this early lap 10, it throws a huge monkey into the scene because, yeah, you have a pretty clean number if you can go 30-something laps on a tank of fuel, depending on what the league says you can run. You can divide it up into 3 pit stops or 2 pit stops. Okay, I can make it. Then, if you get a caution 10 laps into the race and everybody pits, you have no choice. That's going to just absolutely destroy your strategy no matter what happens. And, we've seen guys run out of fuel. I mean, look at Casey Mears in one of the Gatorade duels, or excuse me, Can-Am duels. I hate all the name changes. But we saw him run out of fuel with like 2 laps to go. So you wouldn't think these super speedways turning him into fuel mileage races, but it can happen so easily.
Yeah, it definitely can. We're going to take a moment, step aside, pay some bills right here on LSRTV. But you're watching the iSuper Speedway Series. The stars fell on Alabama 250 right here on LSRTV, the voice of sim racing.
The 2016 iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series is all about change. New teams, new drivers, new tracks, even a new logo. And oh yeah, there's a brand new car. After 5 years of competition, we say goodbye to the Williams FW31 and we say hello to the McLaren MP430. But this isn't just a brand new car, it's a whole new ballgame. And with it, we bring new excitement, new strategies, new technology. For example, energy recovery and drag reduction systems. There's a new way of thinking about racing, and for all the drivers participating, it's back to the drawing board, wiping the slate clean in the ever-consuming pursuit of perfection. One little slip-up, one wrong move on track, one poor strategy call, and it's over. That's the difference between coming up short and becoming champion, and being $10,000 richer to boot. So yeah, change is in the air, but we're going to start getting answers on the 27th of February as the 7th year of iRacing World Championship competition kicks off. And you won't miss a thing, with every single race live on iRacing Live, coverage brought to you by Racebot TV. So join us fortnightly from 1:30 p.m. GMT.
Well, welcome back here to LSR TV's coverage of the Stars Fell on Alabama 250, the Super Speedway Series every Friday night. This is the second half of our doubleheader right here. We thank everybody for tuning in right here on LSRTV and, of course, iRacing Live every Friday night, and getting set to get our first restart back underway here. We saw quite a little bit of action there towards the back of the field there, Gabe, and with the front runners, they were putting on a pretty good show. We saw that bottom side really be the line to be in, at least for the time being, until the rubber can get on the tires, or get on the racetrack. But Ray Rittenauer deciding, the only guy deciding to stay out under this caution. Obviously, we talked about a little bit of a fuel strategy for that 87. He's obviously going to stick to his game at this point.
Yeah, I think what we're going to see is what we saw the 21 at Glenn Hendrick do. Get that inside lane, give him a push, because it's definitely working so far. And then as soon as you get out there, dump the leader. Or not dump the leader, but leave him out to dry and pull up in front of the leader, or pull up in front of that outside lane, and you're able to push by them, and get clear and then duck back down. You saw that in the real Daytona 500. You've seen that in basically the past few years in Speed Week. So I think that's what we're going to see here.
Quick update on the 21 of Glenn Hendrick. He led everybody down pit road as the race leader. He's going to restart now in that 10th position after trouble on pit road. Pace car heading to pit road. Second restart of the night, first after a caution, and that 87 of Ray Rittenauer is going to lead the field back to the green flag. And as we do that, the 14 of Paul Servant, pretty good jump on the outside. They're going to be able to stay side by side, at least for the time being. A little checkup on the top side. Some separation right there between the 26 of Rod Flag on the bottom side and the 71. That's going to leave the bottom lane open. And the 88 of Mark Jorgensen Jr. going to take advantage of that. Going to leave only two cars now to the top side. You're not going to get much done up there with only two.
That's going to absolutely kill that outside lane unless those guys can get up and push each other. It looks like the 32 is set to Merchant as we got a bunch of shuffling here back in the pack. Looks like here comes the 8 down to the bottom, Dana Osborne, and who's at the 71? Looks like he's pushing his teammates, so he's going to push the 20 or the 32 and the 14. So they're going to try and make a run to the front. Only 3 cars. If they can do it, that's a very strong trio right there.
Yeah, and we got a lot of action going on in the back of the pack. These guys are driving 4 wide for just a moment there, and taking it pretty aggressively here on the opening start of a restart there, going 4 wide. Pretty interesting choice of lanes to pick for some of those guys. And I'll tell you what, that top side, a couple guys that you'll want out there to give you that push to be able to push you out to the front. That 32 of Seth the Merchant is one of those guys. And he's been doing a good job right now keeping that 14 of Paul Servant up towards that front car. And with Ray Rittenauer being a little less on fuel, he's going to burn more by leading a lane. That's going to hurt him also on his fuel mileage. So we're definitely going to have to keep an eye on that because he was the only car that did not pit right there. He's going to have a lot of friends to help him out when it is time to come for a green flag. The problem is you got to try to convince these guys to come earlier than they really need to.
Yeah, I think his strategy would have worked if more than one car, if maybe he had about 5 or 6 cars pit or not pit with him and stay out on track, but he's the only one. And, what was that, about a 5 or 6 green flag lap run? And that's going to make a huge difference between having some drafting partners and having nobody to come out on the racetrack with you. So, yeah, I think the 87's kind of going to be left out here to dry once we get to the green flag pit stops. But speaking of racetrack right now, 14, he's getting a big push there. That's Paul Servant getting a push from the 32. They've almost gotten to the front. They've had a couple more cars join in on the top of the racetrack. Looks like it's the 48 of Josh Bell and the 42 of Andrew Berger. So they're going to try and work it way up and a little bit closer here. They're nose to nose as they come across Josh Ball, excuse me. That's Josh Ball in the 48, excuse me. I should know that. He was in the broadcast booth 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, he was up here, I think. I think that's the same guy. I don't know, I could be wrong. Look at that run on the outside, though. Seth the Merchant timed it pretty good right there, coming off of turn number 2. Pushes that 14 out just a bit. It's not going to be enough, though, to get him the race lead as they head back into turn number 3. But that's exactly what you need to do right there is what he did coming off of turn number 4. You got to time it. These guys cannot push through the corners here in this series, so they have to time the exit of the corner just right. And you see it right there off of turn number 4. Look at that 32 all up on that bumper right now. That's going to give Paul Servant the race lead. He's going to choose. Whoa! got loose on the high side was the 32, and
He blew up.
that's going to
32
push
blew
him way out of the racing groove, and he's going to lose a ton of spots now. He's going to drop all the way. He blew up on that. Oh, man, that is unbelievable. I cannot believe that. That early he blew that car up.
Too much time behind that 14 and ends up costing him. Blown engine on lap 18. Unfortunate.
The good part actually was that nobody caught up or ran into the back of him there when he lost all that speed, and he did a great job getting up out of the way. But that's nothing you want right there. As we see up for the lead there, the 88. We talk about him week after week, just wanting to rebound from the horrible season he had last season at the end of 2015, and he's been getting it done, whether it's been in the trucks or in the super speedway so far this season, and came home with a third place finish last week at Rockingham, and that was great. And you can see the push he's getting right now. He's going to actually clear Paul Servant going down the back straightaway. That's a lot of help from that 71 to Christian Peterson, and Peterson's got to find somebody to work for. Look at the run they got. They were able to clear 2 cars ahead of Paul Servant. He's going to leave Josh Ball by himself with the 42 of Andrew Berger on the outside lane now to see if they can make up some ground here. Look at Christian Peterson all over the back bumper of that 88. He's going to have to be careful. His teammate just blew up doing that same thing.
Yeah, he's going to have to be careful. He lost his teammate and he lost his drafting partner, so he's got to be getting on the horn to him, Seth the Merchant, is just kind of save it, man. It blows up after a couple laps. Just save it as there he comes, Seth the Merchant, out back onto the racetrack. One fast repair, so he's got that car. If he didn't uncheck it, or if he unchecked it during the pit stops, 87 and the 12 and the 26 all follow each other down there on the apron of the racetrack. 71's going for the lead, Andy. Here he comes, and he's got the help of the 48 of Josh Ball behind him, but the help comes too late because the 14, he is now on the inside of the 88 or the 71.
Yeah, the 71 really was just getting jammed up right there. He had nothing but to go up to the high side to avoid making some unnecessary collision with the 14 and the 88. So he moves to the high side, catches that 48. Josh Ball, obviously a series champion just 2 seasons ago, coming off of that big championship win for him. And, of course, you saw that here on LSRTV as exclusive coverage continues here in season number 6. And you can see him right there. All the cars there off of turn number 2 start to push up on the racetrack right there. We're approaching about that.
We're 3 wide.
Wow, 3 wide.
Josh Ball is the wrong lane, goes with the 42, and he's going to hit. Both those cars are going to drop back. 71 and the 12 working together, followed by the 28. There goes the 48 and the 42 in the, I guess, patented Dale Earnhardt Jr. sucker hole.
Yeah, and that started with off of turn number 2. Everybody it looked like everyone kind of pushed up the racetrack, getting a little bit tight. That left a center lane wide open, and Corey Henry didn't waste any time getting in there and putting his nose in there, and he's able to take that spot away. That's a push Josh Ball and Andrew Berger quite a ways back. It looks like all the way back to about the 15th spot there. It's only about 7 or 8 cars there on the outside lane, so they're not too far back. They'll be able to catch a run, get back up here. But that 88, Mark Jorgensen Jr., looking strong out front, just like Dale Jr. does in that 88 machine. So Mark Jorgensen Jr., like we said, trying to rebound from last season, and a way to do that is being up front, leading a lot of laps, getting that confidence back in yourself, and he's doing that right now with the help of Paul Servant, giving him the push to lead lap number 22.
Andy, I think the one fact that's kind of killing this outside lane is the fact that they can't push going into the corners, so that inside lane they use that bubble of air and just able to use the momentum they get and just speed up and side draft the guys on the top lane, however many cars there are. And those guys on the top lane, they can't do anything about it once they get through turns 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. They just can't. Other than the other races we've seen, as the 8 of Dana Osborne jumps up to the top lane in front of the 28. They're starting to gather some cars up, Andy. 71's up to the 2nd position.
Yeah, and that's what's great about this league, and I've said it a few times probably over the air. A lot of times we get into these long races, 250 miles. That's a long race. A lot of drivers, a lot of leagues, a lot of other leagues, you'll see these guys get in a single file line and just ride. They just want to ride, log some laps, get towards the end, and then you'll see them really start to turn up the juice. Not here. Not on Friday nights. These guys love to race. They don't care the consequences of driving this hard or trying to make these aggressive moves early on. They don't care. They're here to win. They're here to race. And, man, they put on a great show like that. And look at the timing off of turn number 2. Corey Henry, the 8, Dana Osborne, they're going to push that 71. He's going to push him right to the race lead into turn number 3. And, of course, Christian Peterson will now drop down in front of Jorgensen Jr., give him that spot. We'll see if the 8, Dana Osborne, can get up to his back bumper. It's not going to happen off of turn number 4. That's going to kill that momentum on the top side as they make their way around the 4 of Tommy Hall. Lap down machine here from the earlier incident. Going to go down another lap right now. Into turn number 1, the top side. They killed their momentum once that 71 got to the bottom. They're going to try to have to regroup here, get some more cars, gather them back up. As I look a little further back on that top side, it seems that Josh Ball and that 48 and the 42 of Andrew Berger, they've just been struggling once they lost that. Once they went that 3 wide, they lost that top lane. They've been falling back.
Front. That 14 jumped to the outside lane. He's helping that 8 and the 12 push by that 71 and the 88. That's going to push him into the lead as long as they can keep that run going. Doesn't look to have stalled out. That 8's right on the back bumper as close as you can get to without pushing him. Now he's cleared to push. That 14's clear for the lead.
Yeah, he definitely is. Now the problem is, he's going to bring the 8 with him? No, he's going to drop down in front of Christian Peterson. The 12 still on the back bumper of Dana Osborne right there on the top side, so that's going to help him going into turn 1. They'll lose a little bit here, but if he can time that just right as they exit turn number 2, you can see that number 8 become your next race leader, just possibly, and you can see it right there. That's a pretty good run off of turn number 2. They got a lot of help, 3 more cars just behind them. They're not going to be able to clear him, though, this time into turn number 3. So Paul Servant will retain that lead as they go through the corner. They're setting it up, basically, is what it looks like for the exit of turn number 4, and a pretty good job they are at that. Dana Osborne on the high side trying to get the lead away from Paul Servant off of turn 4.
12 had to stay there on the top lane of the racetrack, or the middle lane, so he just basically cut off the front bumper of the 28 of Shane McEachin. Is look up here, Dana Osborne's going to get him at the line, so he's going to lead lap 26. He's not going to get clear, so he's going to have that 12 push him just a little bit more. That 12 ducks to the outside of the racetrack, probably running hot, so he's going to lose some positions as he tries to pull down that motor. It looks like he's going to drop in front of the 1 and behind the 28 as these guys fanning out again, trying to find their place in line. Looks like that 87 of Rittenauer, and he's got the push from the 26 of Rod Flag, so they're going to fill up that hole there on the bottom of the racetrack, and that bottom lane's formed up yet again.
Yeah, it is, and the biggest thing that we talked about is about to happen right here. Ray Rittenauer has just called out. He's coming down pit road, and so far he's the only car. Looks like he's going to have one other car maybe come down pit road. Looks like the 77 of Justin Anderson's going to come down with him, so he isn't alone. He's very fortunate, but 2 cars is still going to be tough for them to get up to speed and be able to at least run the same speed as the lead pack once they get back on the racetrack.
Looks like teammates pitting together with Ray Rittenauer, the 78. But, Andy, I think we're seeing these guys getting ready as they leave the 14 out to dry. 7-1 and the rest of the entire bottom lane back to Rod Flag and the 26 pull out. They're going to leave that 14, and he's going to put him down to 6th place. As long as the 26 can get around him. No, the momentum stalls out, but those top 3 drivers pull away.
Yeah, that's a pretty bold move right there. All those guys jumping out from that bottom side. They really got to run on that 14, and they timed it just right with that move to get up to the outside. It gets 3 of them clear of Paul Servant. Now Paul Servant's going to run side by side now with that 12 of Corey Henry, and that's that battle for that 4th spot. Top side gaining some more players right now. 7 cars deep as they exit turn number 2. Here comes that outside run right now. The 88 going to look to go up in front of him. He's going to push the issue. It's not going to work. Corey Henry's going to be the big loser of that one right there as Rod Flag decides to go behind the 88. That's going to leave Corey Henry all by himself on that top side. He's going to lose a bunch of spots here as they go through 3 and 4. We'll see if that 88 can regain the race lead as it gets real tight there just behind these guys. Glenn Hedrick almost coming up into that 48 machine as they work their way around Corey Henry.
Well, I can't believe that. The 88 forced his way to the top and was not clear, and he ends up coming out on a better situation of it.
It sounds like Dale Jr. on a Talladega night. Well, they're coming up on the lap traffic now. It's the 87 and the 77. Ray Rittenauer in the 77 and Justin Anderson trying to get back up to speed here. They're working together now. They'll be able to catch on to this pack right here as they race down the back straightaway. And at least for them, they'll at least be with that group as when they come down the pit, they'll regain that lead and they'll at least get up to that speed that these guys are running, so they won't lose too much more time. They'll be able to jump down behind that 42 of Andrew Berger if they choose so, and it looks like they will off of turn number 4. For the race lead, though, that 71, he's got the help from Shane McEachin right now. The 88 has no help right now from Rod Flagg. Took him a while to get up to that back bumper. That'll kill that top side momentum at least for another half a lap.
Yeah, it's all about timing with that outside lane. They can't push in the corner, so they're going to have to time it just right. And we've seen them. They've been able to do it. These guys got a lot of practice here. But, Andy, we were talking about earlier, these guys, they like to run single file. You know, at most racetracks, as the 88 gets a big push going for the lead down the back straightaway. But most of those guys, if they run single file, they're usually in that mentality, oh, it's a plate track. I'm just going to go through it, you know, work my way through it, take my points, and get out of here. In this series, all there is plate tracks. So if you do that, you're going to finish at the bottom of the standings. These guys, they're just used to it. They love racing. That's why they're in this league.
Yeah, it really takes I'd say a special breed or a special animal to really get how to race here. It's not easy. It looks easy on the screen. Okay, you're just driving around 200 miles an hour. Long sweeping turns. You just got to keep the car straight. But you know what? There's a lot more that goes into it. You got to be able to read the draft, read the line that's going faster. There's a whole lot that goes into it when you're at these racetracks, and these guys do it week in and week out. I'd put these guys up against anybody in the sim as far as the talent level that they have at these plate tracks. As we see that battle for the lead still side by side into turn number 3, and the 88 holding serve on the top side. The 71 though able to keep the momentum going as they exit turn number 4.
Yeah, Andy, you talk about it takes a special breed to drive these cars. It takes a skilled driver. Like you said, it looks easy, but, you know, I heard a quote from some racing driver. I can't remember the name. Somebody in the comments might be able to help me with this. Any idiot can drive a fast car. It takes a race car driver to drive a car fast. You know, these guys, yeah, you can putt around here at 190 miles an hour, but, you know, you almost have to be like Earnhardt and see the air and see where the lines are moving. One of those drivers driving the 88, we've said it a couple times, looking like Dale Jr. because he's got that 26 pushing him. He's going to try and take that 88 to the front yet again, getting around the 71, but that inside lane is going to come back at him.
Yeah, they kind of broke up a little bit there on the back straightaway. It killed the momentum on that top side, and Christian Peterson continuing going to lead right now off of turn number 4. They're going to try to fight back there on the top side. They're going to get a pretty decent run, but that 71 will lead another lap here on lap number 34, and 33 of them complete. We're about a third of the way through this race. We're going to take a moment, going to step aside as you're watching the iSuper Speedway Series right here on LSRTV, the voice of sim racing.
D-
Welcome back here to the I Super Speedway Series. The stars fell on Alabama 250 right here on LSRTV, and green flag pit stops have already begun here as we work our way on complete lap number 36. And right now, Dana Osborne leading his little group along with Paul Servant down the pit road. 4 tires and fuel will be the call for these drivers as they start to make their green flag pit stops. We'll see as this front field starts to get broken up quite a bit here as they continue to cycle through these stops. A couple other drivers they're getting closer in the back straightaway with those guys trying to come up the racetrack, and the guys on the racetrack aren't letting them or giving them any room right now. As see all this field, the front guys starting to split up quite a bit right now, and I'm looking at one car that's really kind of coming through the field rather quickly right now as the front group. The majority of them come down pit road, but look at that 34 car coming out of nowhere. Big winner a couple weeks ago, and here we are at the closing in on the halfway point in this race, and he finds himself now as green flag pit stops start going on in that 4th spot, and they're going to come down pit road this next time.
Yeah, he's getting in main contact with the leaders. That should really help him coming off pit road with the fastest cars on the racetrack. Can you imagine the mad scramble for these guys? You know, teammates saying, okay, we're going to pit this time. Okay, that's great. If you could find me a way to get to the bottom side of the racetrack, that'd be great, because I've been stuck up here the whole race. These guys just making a mad scramble. You just look at him. Sean Bounty moved to the top lane of the racetrack. Looks like he's not pitting this time, and he's just going to go for the lead as everybody else is making a mad scramble trying to get to the bottom, setting themselves up for a pit stop.
Yeah, they are. Another huge group coming down. 34 actually going to go for it right there. Everybody else came down with them in a good pit road entry. Oh, almost went into the
26
grass there.
takes out the cone.
It looks like the 26 hit the cone. We'll see if he ends up with an unsafe pit entrance penalty, but pit row, that's probably the busiest it's been so far tonight right there. That was a huge group of cars coming down pit road, probably 20 or so right there. And we'll see how they all shake up here as they come off of pit road, and who will be our leaders and who won't be our leaders. Who was leading at the time when we came in, and we'll see who is when we're all done here in just a moment. A couple laps it'll take for these guys to cycle through, but it looks like for the most part, Matt Quick out on the racetrack right now is going to have to pit this time. It sounds like he's out of fuel right now as he's trying to make his way to pit road off of turn number 4. That's going to jumble up who was left out there. It looks like the 21 of Glenn Hendrick was one of them. He's going to come down pit road, so at least Matt Quick will have another driver to head down pit road with him. It looks like Josh Ball in that 48 machine, though, coming off of pit road right there that last time. He might be our race leader once everything cycles through, but it's going to take a lap or so for everybody to get jumbled up. And we saw how quickly the pack kind of dissipated there, Gabe, but it won't take long, and they'll all be right back up again in a group again.
Oh, yeah, it's just the nature of the draft. These guys go single file, and as soon as they end up forming up, they're going to be just racing as hard as they were before. But I'm looking to see where it looks like the rest of these drivers pitting led by, nope. Okay, it's the 48 of Josh Ball out front right now, or he's in the 3rd position.
Yeah, it looks like the 8 overtook
Dana
that
Osborne.
little group right there, and
Yeah.
he's going to be put in the race lead right now. The problem for those two, for Dana Osborne and Paul Servant, they were a couple of the first guys that came down pit road, so that advantage, some clean pit stops right there, gave them the advantage, puts them in the race lead. The problem for those two is they got 4 cars behind them. The 4 cars will obviously be faster than 2.
One thing I want to look at, Andy, that where's the 87 and the 77 going to end up there? It looks like they're about 10 seconds behind everybody. They were the only 2 cars to pit about, about 5 laps ago, because the 87, he chose not to pit under the first caution, so he didn't have enough fuel to make it the rest of the way with everybody else. So the 77 chose to come down with him as teammate, and those guys looks like all they need is one caution or at least a big pack to come catch them up, and they'll be able to get back in this thing.
Yeah, they should be able to, but they are off sequence, obviously, from our race leaders. We see the race for the lead shaping up. The 4 cars, like I said, was a little bit faster. Josh Ball on the outside. He's going to bring that 42 of Andrew Berger. They're going to be able to get that top spots away now. They got the 51 of Jason Altmans and Frank Busilia. Give them the push. Those 4 might be able to get around him. It might take him another corner or so right now. Josh Ball was able to clear it. he's going to stay to the top side and help those other guys to get around the 8 of Dana Osborne as they work their way around some lap traffic. That is the 3 car of Donnie Giarratano. So that car, or excuse me, that's the 31 machine up on the top side that they were able to get around. And that's going to put these top 4 now. They were able to clear Dana Osborne. We got a 6-car breakaway now from the rest of the field.
Now, Josh Ball on that 48, that is a race car driver making friends before halfway. He knows those guys. He's been racing with them all day, and even that 14, he's been up front, and Dana Osborne as well. He knows those guys are fast. He knows he's going to have to deal with them if he wants to get to the end. So he may as well make a few friends on his front.
That was an interesting move right there, going down the back straightaway. Those 4 cars actually went up to the high side and chose to run the high side. They gave the bottom to Dana Osborne. Dana Osborne going to drop down now. Or excuse me, he's going to have the 42 of Andrew Berger jump down in front of him off of turn number 4. That's going to give the momentum there to the bottom side, and that's going to give that 42 his first laps led here on the evening to complete lap number 42. We are approaching that halfway point, just a couple laps away from that. So far, what we've seen here tonight, some pretty good racing. A lot of green flag laps here being run. We've only had that 1 caution early on in the race. Took a couple drivers out of contention as Berger moves up to the top side there. He might have done that move right there to just maybe save the engine, maybe cool it off a little bit. That was the only way he'd be able to get in front of that 48. So maybe those two still going to continue working together here over the course of the races. We got 3 on the top, 3 on the bottom right now. The problem for that bottom side, though, Gabe, they're split up right now. That momentum's not going to carry them at all off the corner.
Oh, yeah, that 94 Fusilia, he's way back there. That's definitely not helping. That's almost acting like a parachute because that air is getting spoiler's getting air. Dyslexia kicking in, but there's also air hitting the front of his car, and that disrupts the draft. So it's acting like a parachute for the 14 and the 8, and that's going to allow these guys on the top lane to go around. Looks like the 51's going to jump down.
Yeah, Jason Altman's there, going to jump down to the bottom side. Frank Fusilia having some trouble keeping up with these guys in the draft right now. He might get up there. Him and Josh Ball have worked well together over the seasons here at the iSuper Speedway Series. You see Josh Ball thinking he was going to drop down to the bottom. He's going to, and actually all 3 of them will now. So top 6 going to ride around now, single file off of turn number 4. And they got a pretty sizable gap, a little bit over 3 seconds now back to that 7th place car. That is the 34 of Sean Bounty, leading that second pack of about 10 cars right now. In fact, that just switched up just a bit. There's Rodney Wofford and the 12 of Corey Henry able to get around him along with William Roberts, so that'll push Sean Bounty back quite a bit. But he is in that group right there, a group that consists of about 7-8 cars right now off of turn number 2. So I wouldn't be long. You're going to see that group right there be able to catch up to these front runners right now. But as long as the front runners run single file like they are, it will be tough, or at least make it a long time before they do catch up.
Yeah, I was just about to point out, when they were racing side by side there for the lead, they should have gotten single file, and they did right as I was about to come over the microphone and say that, because these guys, they had to notice that the 7th on back cars are racing side by side, racing very hard, led by that 7, and that gap, it's gradually coming down, but it's definitely not helping them, them racing side by side and these top 6 cars racing single file.
Yeah, it's a lot harder to have a single file line of more than, I would say probably 4 cars. The 6 of them up front here doing a great job at it, but it makes it real tough when you're talking about a pack of about 8 to 10 cars like that second group right now. It makes it real tough for that whole group to be able to run single file. I mean, it's just so much goes into it. The air, the bumps on the racetrack. It's really hard to keep that line straight, keep them in line. And like I said, it makes it a little bit easier when it's only about 3 or 4 cars. But when you start adding on a couple extra, that's where it makes it real tough and you start to lose that speed.
Yeah, that side draft's going to come into play. Look at the gap this time. Finally getting the 3.6 bracket, so 3.6 seconds behind the leader. And I guess these lap cars aren't helping it either. If there's an isolated lap car once or twice, and looks like that lane, that backpack, 7th on back, they're single file now. We'll change that. The 12's going to duck to the outside, go to the back because nobody else wants to go with him, and that's kind of sad actually. He's all by himself up there.
It could be if this was the last lap when for Corey Henry. He's got plenty of time now as we've reached that point here now as they cross the start-finish line to complete lap number 47. So we'll take this time and run us through our iRacing mid-race race break right now as they run on the racetrack at the halfway point. And right now that 8 car of Dana Osborne leads the way as Paul Servant rides in that second spot. Third is Jason Altman's Andrew Berger and Josh Ball round out the top 5. 6th place right now is Frank Busilia. Rodney Wofford runs 7th. 8th is William Roberts. Sean Bowney is 9th. And 10th is Shane McEachin.
11th, the 98 Greg Hooks. 12th is Chris Bassani. Christian Peterson, Kyle Manger, 14th position. 15th, Corey Henry. David Anderson in the 19 running 16th. Ryan Keese in 17th. 18th, Lewis Calderon. Matt Quick and Mark Jorgensen Jr. One of the leaders we saw, but he ended up hitting later in the run. He's running 20th.
21st right now is Alex Hallinar. Darren Harrington is 22nd. 23rd goes to Ray Rittenauer. Chad Keene is in that 24th spot. 25th is Donnie Giarratano. Mark Brown is 26th. 27th is Justin Anderson. Kent Connolly is 28th. 29th is the 25 of Daniel Ferguson. Kelly Dahl sits 30th.
31st, Rod Flagg. 36th, Sean Turner in the 32nd position. That's 31st and 32nd. Then you get the one lap down cars, a couple of them. Looks like 33rd, Glenn Hendrick, Raymond Evans, Brandon Montevias in 35th. One lap down also. 36th, Darrell Walker, Dwayne Cooper, and Seth the Merchant, after blowing his engine, gets that one reset, and he's running one lap down. The last car one lap down. Then you got 14 laps down in 39th, Tommy Hall, and Casey Malone in the 52 in 40th, 35 laps down.
And that's exactly what Casey Malone did not want after coming off his first ever win in the iSuper Speedway Series. Well, this has been your iRacing Midway Race Break, and for more information on the wide variety of racing possibilities on the web, visit iRacing.com and sign up today. Well, we're halfway through it. Going to take a break. We're going to go LSRTV nonstop. You're watching the iSuper Speedway Series right here on LSRTV, the voice of sim racing.
The 2016 iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series is all about change. New teams, new drivers, new tracks, even a new logo. And oh yeah, there's a brand new car. After 5 years of competition, we say goodbye to the Williams FW31 and we say hello to the McLaren MP430. But this isn't just a brand new car, it's a whole new ballgame. And with it, we bring new excitement, new strategies, new technology. For example, energy recovery and drag reduction systems. There's a new way of thinking about racing, and for all the drivers participating, it's back to the drawing board, wiping the slate clean in the ever-consuming pursuit of perfection. One little slip-up, one wrong move on track, one poor strategy call, and it's over. That's the difference between coming up short and becoming champion, and being $10,000 richer to boot. So yeah, change is in the air, but we're going to start getting answers on the 27th of February as the 7th year of iRacing World Championship competition kicks off. And you won't miss a thing, with every single race live on iRacing Live, coverage brought to you by Racebot TV. So join us fortnightly from 1:30 p.m. GMT.
And we welcome you back here to Talladega Motor Speedway for what is the second half of our Friday night doubleheader right here. It's the Super Speedway Series. The Stars fell on Alabama 250. We're past the halfway point now, and things starting to shape up here as we went to commercial. That second pack we talked about that was 3 seconds back of our top 6. They've caught him, and now there's a second line forming. Sean Bounty in that 34 machine, he wasn't shy about it. He's going to that top side, and now he's going to have that 94 of Frank Busilia jump to the high side, try to help him out as they're going for the race lead off turn 4.
Top lane up to third, up side by side now. The 51, and they're going to have prey of the 48, and here they go. They're side by side for the second position. Got a fender on the 42 of Andrew Berger. That 94, he wasn't able to keep up in the pack, but he's got a good car up front, single by himself.
Yeah, he does, and I think that 48's got a little bit of damage on that machine, so it's causing him a little bit of trouble hanging onto that back bumper to 42, and you can see that top side hooked up real nice. Frank Busilia going to drop down in front, take that race lead. Sean Bounty's going to continue that momentum now. He's going to edge him out just a little bit for the lead there in turn number 3. They'll fall back just a bit right here, try to time that exit of the corner. You got the 98, Greg Hooks. Haven't talked about him all night, starting at 27th spot. He's up to 4th right now as he tries to push Sean Bounty to the race lead. They got Chris Passini in that one car in tow as well.
Yeah, it looks like a 6-car breakaway right now as these guys racing very hard. It's not much of a breakaway, but it's enough to maybe pull away unless the 51 on the inside and the 21 on the outside can pull both their lanes along. And maybe they can, maybe they can't, but it's just so hard to predict the way the draft moves. 94 goes up to block, but here comes Sean Bounty to the lead. Looks like he's clear down the back straightaway. Will he wait?
Yeah, Sean Bounty loves that high side. I've talked to him a couple weeks ago, and he really knows that top side's the place if you can get the run off the corner. So unless he's totally clear, I highly doubt you'll see that 24 jump down in front unless he sees something we don't see. But, the 34 of Sean Bounty. And so used to him in other leagues we used to do. He used to run the 24. So just so used to seeing that doyourpart.org paint scheme up front and usually in the 24 car. So he switched that over recently over in the past few months. And I figured I should have had that right by now.
All right, we still got time. We're getting all new stuff for Sean because he just debuted a new paint scheme. He's running in a couple different leagues with that doyourpart.org on their car, but looks like he's going to make a run for the lead again. He's clear. Will he pull down? He's making it. Nope, he's going to wait for that 98 to hopefully Greg Hook's right behind him, but here comes that momentum. 42 breaking away from the 48 of Josh Ball, so momentum just carrying. That's a fast car up there. It's almost a couple years ago, Trevor Bain, he had to push people all race because if he got out in front, he basically pulled away from the person behind him. That's almost like the same situation here. That 94's got a fast car.
Yeah, Frank Busilia, definitely one of those veterans here at the Super Speedway Series that knows how to get it done. Green flag pit stops have begun once again. The 8 car in the 14. Oh, as the 12 gets tight, gets up into the wall, somehow keeps that thing going in the right direction. Doesn't look like he lost too much ground right there, but wow, that was a heavy hit for the 12 of Corey Henry into that turn 2 wall. And I mentioned the pit stops happening. It looked like the 8 and the 14 of Paul Servin decided to be the first ones to come down pit road. We'll see the rest of our leaders start to duck their way here as the laps go by. A couple more, and you'll see some more guys start to head down pit road. But the race for the lead has been pretty awesome here the last couple of laps. Sean Bounty on the outside, and then 94, Frank Busilia on the inside.
Yeah, that 94 better be careful because if he takes that Ford Fusion and he moves off the bottom of the racetrack, look there on that yellow line, that 42, he can stick his nose in there and he can just take that lead and put the 94 in the sucker hole through the middle. So that 94's got to protect that bottom.
Yeah, he's got to protect that bottom, but you also got to remember there's still left on this race. You've still got 35 laps left to go here. 36 will be 35 this time by. So, you know what? Late in the race, he probably most definitely will stick his nose down in there. But I think at this point, I think that 42 might think twice about it this time. This time going by pit road, looks like most of our leaders will stay out this time once again. We'll probably see them in the next 5 to 10 laps here to start making their pit stops. And Sean Bounty, he's going to lead that lap right there. Put him up in front, 14/100ths of a second of that time. So close call, but that's exactly what talking to him a couple weeks ago was. That's all you got to lead by to get the win here. That's it. You just got to beat him by the nose, and I think that top side's a favorite place for that 34 car.
Yeah, you just got to have the right person behind you. We've talked about it. Just timing. Timing is perfect, and the more you run that outside lane, and the more you run with that person behind you. You know, speaking of the 98 of Greg Hooks, you know, if Sean gets down to the end of this race and he sees that 98's behind him, he's going to feel pretty comfortable running that outside lane because he knows when to push and when they can get around the leaders.
No, you're absolutely right, and I think the 98 obviously feeling comfortable knowing that 24 or that that 34.
There we go again.
Knows how to get it done at the plate tracks as well. And talking to the 34, Sean Bounty, as these guys come up on those first two guys that came down pit road. That's the 8 of Dana Osborne and the 14 of Paul Servant. And
51 and the 98 Greg Hooks.
Tight on the corner exit there. Almost got into Greg Hooks there on the outside. That's going to break up the momentum of that top side. Sean Bounty trying to get some draft help from those cars that are about to make a lap down now. And Sean Bounty's all his help on that outside lane has now gone away as he starts to fall back in about that 5th spot right now. Chris Bassini and Glenn Hedrick are able to catch up to him now, but not before that 34 loses that front top spot.
Yeah, he hesitated to get down on the bottom of the racetrack. It was a smart move, like you said, 30 laps to go. Doesn't really have to move to the bottom just yet and, you know, kind of hold his position. That 98, though, he pulls right down the bottom of the racetrack. As soon as he saw it was clear, he saw the 51, the 20, and all those guys kind of check up. He moved to the bottom, and now he's in 4th solidly.
Yeah, that was a pretty good move right there. He almost lost it when he almost made that contact with the 51. As you can see, some more cars here coming up behind these guys now. The 7, the 28, the 99, and that group right there, led by Rodney Wofford, starting to make a run now. They almost look to go 3 wide there. High on the outside, some contact between the 8 and the 14. That's going to separate those guys. Sean Bounty able to move down to the bottom. And it looks like that 34 coming down pit road this time. He's going to have some help. The 42, the 48, 94 of Busilia, and the 51 of Jason Altman's all coming down pit road this time by.
The 42 looked like he sped.
It's going to be close for him. We'll have to see on his pit stop if he ends up getting stuck.
He was going about 67 or 68 when he entered.
It'll be interesting. Oh, Frank Busilia overshoots his pit stall. He's going to slide out of position. That's going to hurt him if he can't come out with some other drivers after this pit stop here. But it looks like he'll be able to come out with some of these guys here as we look at Greg Hooks, our new race leader now, leading that pack down the back straightaway and into turn number 3. We'll see if that 98 and the rest of those guys, the 1 and the decide to come down pit road this time to get their service.
Look at the 2 lap down cars there on the inside as the rest of the leaders pit. Almost contact between the 98 and the 20 as they slow down for the pit road. Greg Hooks taking that extreme low lane. Everybody genuinely makes it good, clean this time. No
like the
overshot.
21 overshot it.
I stand corrected. 21 looks like he overshoots it.
Yeah, he was really caught speeding that time, I think, on that one. Looks like the 71 now calling out. They're going to come down pit road this next time by. So you'll see the last group here of these leaders come down pit road here in just a moment as they go down the back straightaway. But we'll keep an eye on that 48 machine. I believe these guys are going to have to make one more stop before this thing's done. We're approaching that 30 laps to go, but they've only been able to get about 25 to 27 laps here on a fuel run. So there is one more stop for fuel and gas and go as the leaders do come down pit road this time.
See if everybody gets there clean. There goes the cone. And the 28's going to slide, hits the edge of the pit wall.
We talk about
Shane McEachin.
Yeah, we talk about a race after race, Gabe, when we come to these plate tracks. They're won and lost on pit road. Not so much all the time things you do out on the racetrack, but a lot of times, especially in these green flag stops, pit road is treacherous, getting woed down from 200 miles an hour off the corner. And you're not doing it on banking either. You're on a pretty flat surface. Plus, you got to figure your brakes are pretty cool, too, because you're not using brakes here.
Well, they're not only cool, but they're small. You know, NASCARs, they run a lot smaller brakes because they save the weight because, like you said, we don't use them. So NASCARs are known for their horrible brakes compared to other forms of motorsports, but at Talladega and Daytona, it's even worse.
Yeah, it absolutely is. So it's one of those things coming off of the corner that you really want to you really want to actually, pump those brakes and try to get some heat into them before you actually start getting on them. So we'll see what happens as field's going to cycle through. The pit stops are pretty much done, I believe, here for all our top runners. We'll have to see the. It's good. We're going to have to see how it all shapes up here once they all cross the start-finish line. We'll see who ends up as our race leader, and it looks like maybe the 7 car, Rodney Wofford, might be the one. It might be the here, and it's going to be the 42 3-car breakaway with the 42 of Andrew Berger, Josh Ball, and Jason Altmans, who came down with a whole bunch of other guys, and one of those being the 34 of Sean Bounty, and Sean Bounty currently right now shown in the 14th spot, so he obviously lost a lot of ground there.
Well, that was the main group. We saw so many mistakes entering pit road and entering pit stalls. Of course, we didn't see the 28 hit the pit wall, but that was an isolated incident. Really, everybody basically missed the pit entrance. With the rest of that pack came in.
Well, it took a few laps once everything got spread out like this on the last round of green flag pit stops, and I'm sure it won't be long here, about 5 or 10 laps. You'll see them all start to accordion back in right now. A 3-car breakaway, though, for the race lead. They got about a 2-second lead over that, make that a 3.5-second lead over the 99 of Kyle Manger, who's leading that second pack right now, which is only. So.
A little microphone trouble on Andy Kessler, so.
That was crazy. I was kind of choking right there. I was choking on my words, gentlemen. Talking about that 3-car pack having a 3-second lead.
Sure.
And then only 4 cars in that second group there, led by the 99, and they're actually gaining a lot of time. It looks like on this lap right here, they gained about 0.3 of a second right there. So that second group coming. Greg Hook's leading the third group, which is 4 cars strong right now. One of those being the 20 machine of Derek Walker, who is shown 1 lap down. So they have 4 cars, but only 3 of them on the lead lap. Then you have to go back a little bit further there for the next group with Dana Osborne, Paul Servant, William Roberts Jr., and then Sean Bounty trying to cling on to that draft of those guys. It's making it real tough for him right now.
Yeah, that's the one thing. You have such a good car, and if you get stuck out here by yourself, no matter how good your car is, and once you get caught, even if it's a couple cars like we see Dana Osborne, the 14 and the 54, they have so much more speed on you. Even if you let them by and get back into gas, to fall in behind them, there's so much at that point. It really doesn't matter. You're going to lose touch with the draft like we're seeing the 34 now.
Yeah, we are, and I think at this point he's definitely lost the draft of those guys, and it'd be nice if for his sake, if one of those guys would tap the brakes just a little bit, and I'm sure the 2 of them could catch back up to the other 2 guys. But a lot of times when you're out here, you don't want to lose any of that momentum, and we see that second group up front continuing to knocked off about a half a second that last go around. So that second group is definitely coming, and they're probably going to fly by these top 3 here rather easily here once they catch up. And they're catching up in a hurry here as they rumble down the front straightaway and cross the start finish line. So they're coming in a hurry, and it's not going to be too long here. And we heard some of the guys on the radio say they can't make it on the rest of the way on fuel. So this is one of those times, or this is crunch time in this race, where these guys are actually going to have to work hard, get back up to that front pack, and do it in a hurry, because that last stop is only going to be a gas and go. They're not going to throw any tires on those machines, and they're not even going to fill them up all the way either, because they're going to have a handful of laps left.
Yeah, and that's the part about, just getting formed up again. You're going to want to coach your guys, coming up to these races. They run the super speedways every week, so they're kind of used to it. But if you don't, and you want to coach your guys on getting on pit road, getting it consistent. You want consistent times getting on the pit road, not just your pit stops on pit road. Minimize mistakes, because if you do, look at how spread out the pack is. I mean, we've got 3 cars for the lead, 4th through 7th, and then 3 cars, and then the rest of the field basically just isolated groups, and that's just because of so many mistakes entering pit road.
Yep, it has definitely cost a bunch of drivers, especially if this stays green like it has that feel right now. We've only had that one caution early in the race here. We got 23 laps to go when they cross the start-finish line this time by here. They keep chewing into that lead right now. It's 1.8 seconds. It's going to change right here as they cross the start-finish line again. They've been gaining literally half a second at least every single lap, and right now it's all the way down. They gained 0.8 that lap, and you're talking, Gabe, like almost 4 miles an hour faster every lap. That's a lot of speed.
Yeah, that may not seem like it, 193 to 199 or 197. That may not seem like anything, but like I said earlier, any sort of difference in speed, you're going to catch these guys, and they've caught to the back of that pack. Because look, we've got 2 cars that have caught that main pack's draft. I mean, I don't even call it a pack. I call it a couple guys. But, we've seen the 2 cars right there. It looks like Shane and Rodney, they're running just a little bit faster, and they caught that draft. But now the 2 cars behind them, the 71 or the 99, the 28, they pulled away, and then they kind of accordion back together. And Andy, let's see if they kind of steamroll by them. It looks like the momentum's stalling out, but they've had enough time to work with each other. I think they should, kind of get in team speed together and get on the radio and say, let's pull outside and let's get by these guys.
Well, they definitely could. The opportunity is there. It looks like the 51 is going to be the first one to look outside, and he chooses wisely, jumps back inside, saw that nobody was coming. But, for these guys, honestly, with a 5-second lead like they have over that 8th spot right now of Greg Hooks in the 98, why not ride it single file for the time being? Maybe extend that or at least keep that lead going as far as coming down for the last pit stop, because the more time you have on those guys behind you, that's going to make that last pit stop that much more better for these guys to have that gap, and that way if a slight bobble or a slight mistake, it won't cost them too much. But it looks like that second group starting in that 8th spot with the 98, they gained a bunch of time right there off of that last lap. Right now it's down to about 6 seconds from the tail end of this front pack now.
And these guys are dancing back and forth. 51 almost cut the back bumper, the 48, Josh Ball, and they kind of kept it back together. They're just weaving back and forth. 99, Kyle Manger, he jumped to the outside with Almonds, and they just can't pick a line. They just want to get where the momentum's going, and it's just going everywhere.
Well, I talked about it running single file with a big group, sort of like this, or even with some more cars, is you get that accordion effect. One guy, maybe slows up or loses loses momentum just a bit. It starts to accordion. Then you start seeing these guys towards the back of the field start to, as we go on board the 99, looking out his front to Jason Altman's in that 51 Geek Squad machine. They tend to start weaving in and out, and you'll see that towards the back part, and you can see that right there off of turn number 2 right there, the 7 and 71 kind of getting a little bit loose, and it's kind of, like I said, it's not easy to do what these guys are doing, and it looks like they're actually starting to pull away more now from that 8th spot. They gained almost a second that last time by, and that's not spelling good news.
Here comes a couple
they're
cars,
in the pit road.
99, 28 to pit road. They're inside their pit window.
They're going to
contact coming on the pit road.
Shane McKeechin and that 28 having trouble again. That's 2 stops in a row. And it looks like the 99 is going to stay on the grass because he's going to have an unsafe pit entrance because of that contact. So to avoid a penalty, he's going to stay out on the racetrack. But the problem for him is he just lost all that time, and he's going to have to come back in next time. Going to get the replay up on the screen for you, and man, this is unbelievable right there, what happened right there. Shane McKeechin just coming in way too hot right there, getting on the brakes, losing control of that car, and we talked about it the last time with him and hitting that inside pit wall, and now he does it again, this time making contact with that 99 of Kyle Manger, and Kyle Manger, the big sufferer out of that whole big ordeal right there. So just like that, running in the front pack with an opportunity to win this race, and it's over just like that in a split second.
Yeah, these guys, some of them back in the pack are hoping for a caution, Andy, and they almost got it right there with the 99. I'm looking here on the radio chatter. Looks like Glenn Hendricks, he's throwing some bottles and stuff out the window just trying to get a caution. He's saying debris in turn 2, rain in turn 3, and apparently a pair of underwear in turn 4. So
Oh, I thought that was a shoe. Maybe it was a. All right, something was out there.
maybe it's Jack Roush's hat.
Yeah, there you go. Hoping for throwing a Nerf bar out there or something. He's gonna try to do something just to get one of those cautions. That would be, for a lot of it'd be nice for a lot of these guys to be able to catch back up. And I mean, obviously, it would make a totally different a total different race. As far as what we're seeing right now is everything's really just been. We got trouble just in front of our leaders right there. It looked like I can't even read that number on that yellow car there, but
looks like Mark Brown.
Yeah,
Mark
it looks
Brown
like touch the apron.
Mark Brown, the 66 with trouble.
Yeah, it looks like the 9 was involved, maybe too. Maybe caught a little piece of him.
And that breaks up the whole pack there in front of him. There were a bunch of pack of the guys just outside the top 20, one lap down and on the tail end of the lead lap. And all those guys, they had to check up and not allow the leaders to catch them up.
Yeah, it does, but that kills their momentum too that these front 3 had, and the lead that they were pulling off on these second group there, led by Frank Busilia. So we take a look at some of these other guys trying to still make up some ground here. Sean Bounty up to that 9th spot, but they're still 15 seconds out of the race lead. So time's winding down, and it's definitely starting to lose track as this next time by. We'll have only 15 laps to go.
Only going to be 15 laps to go. 14 seconds from 7th on back. And then that's only the top 10, 7th through 10th. And then basically the entire field is just spread out behind there. So no real shot unless these guys can just get a caution and just kind of reset the entire field. This top 3, if they pit and don't have any problems, they pretty much got the win in hand.
Yeah, that they do. They're doing a great job staying together, and they're coming up on some lap down cars right now. The 088 of Kent Conley is the first bumper that they're going to come to here in a moment, coming into turn number 1. And if they can latch onto these guys, as long as they don't slow them down any, this will help them out as far as gaining on their lead as well, too. Right now, 8 seconds back to that 4th spot of Frank Busilia. So even that second group with 3 cars as well as this front group, still unable to make up any sort of ground. So it's not... whatever they're doing, it's just not enough right now at this point.
Yeah, I mean, just look at the speed. These guys were usually going about 191 with 3 cars, and they've caught 3 more cars here in the pack, and now they're up to 196, 197. They're picking up speed, so yeah, that's pretty much doomed the fate of everybody behind them because that gap from 4th on back's now grown to 8.1 coming by the line this time. Like it's gonna be when we get the timing and scoring once they cross the start-finish line. These guys, looks like they're doing what Andy said, just latching on the back of them, not try and pass them.
Yeah, you start to pass them, that's when you start losing some time right now, and it's going to continue, at least maintain for another lap. That 8-second gap right now. The third group back, though, did gain about a second there when these guys were having some trouble catching up to these lap down cars. So things are going to start changing. Obviously, some more guys coming down pit road. It looks like the 94 heading down pit road as well. So Frank Busilia going to make his pit stop. Top 3, they're coming in as well. Here comes the 42 of Berger, the 48 of Josh Ball, and the 51 of Jason Altman's all coming down pit road right now here on lap number 81, and that leaves us 14 left to go here. So with 14 laps to go and cycle of pit stops happening, we're running out of time for a lot of these guys to catch up for the race lead, and it's going to be interesting to see where they all shape out when everything does. One of those guys in that group that pitted first was Shane McKeechan in that 28 machine, and him along with Rodney Wofford, the 71 of Christian Peterson, have done a great job since they came back out on racetrack. Those 3 guys have pretty much been locked to each other's bumper, trying to make up as much time as they can, knowing that everybody else still had to make their pit stop. They're working their way around some lap traffic right now. Some guys that have already made their pit stops as well, and those top 3 guys we're gonna have to keep an eye on that 28 machine, because right now they're scored in that 4th spot right now. We take a look at Josh Ball in the 48. Those guys were just behind them, so they're going to end up down a couple of spots here as they try to get hooked back up here. They're separated as of right now, coming off of turn number 4, and we talk about pit stops making a big change in the game. And right now, I think the top three, as they run, Shane McKeechin, Rodney Wofford, and Christian Peterson did a great job on their pit stops. No mistakes at all. And when they came back out onto the racetrack, they were able to lock into each other rather quickly. And we see now, finally, the 51 of Altman's able to catch up to the 42, or let the 42 and 48 catch up to him. So now these three, if they can get locked in, they might have an opportunity to catch up to these three. But the laps are starting to really tick down on these guys now. This time by, we'll have 11 laps to go.
10 laps to go. It's crunch time here at Talladega Speedway. Depending on where these guys form up and how many packs form up by the end of this race, that's really going to determine how this race is going to play out. It's so unpredictable here at Talladega and Daytona, but these guys are so used to it. They should know how these races pan out, even though they have 3 different formats they run, and maybe even more than that. I just started working this series with you, Andy, but these guys, they know how to run these plate tracks, and we've seen that here with only one caution.
Yeah, and as we work these last few laps and we're making our way into turn 3, our leader, Shane McKeechin, leading the way right now with Rodney Wofford and Christian Peterson. These three will be they got a pretty sizable lead right now. They got the 89 of Matt Quick, actually, trying to catch them up and get in tow right now. Hopefully to catch on to this draft and give him an opportunity to win this race as well as they cross the line. We'll have 10 laps to go here in this race, and man, a lot of things going on, a lot of different comers and goers. And you talk about the 42 and the 48 and 51 that were leading, and they had about a 5-second lead before they did all these pit stops, and now they find themselves 6 seconds back of our top 4 right now as they run, and that's a pretty sizable gap for those guys right now trying to rebound, especially when they were leading as well as they were doing. We'll see if they can start to close in on these guys in the front, but I just really think that the 28 of McKeechin, Wofford, and Peterson, those three have just been spot on in this last bit of this race here, especially when it came to their pit stop. Everything has been absolutely perfect for those three, and it shows right now as they cross the start-finish line and get 9 laps to go here, and their gap is going to change a bit here. Actually, Matt Quick's going to lose the draft from those guys, and the lead is going to change from they're going to lose about a 10th right there. So Andrew Berger and Josh Ball, they're trying to do everything they can to try to gain some time. They got to do a little bit more, though, if they're going to do it before time runs out.
Time running out quickly here at Dega. Yeah, you got to feel for Peterson in that 71. He lost his teammate early in the race, and that, completely destroyed their strategy of trying to run this race whenever Seth the Merchant blew up around lap 10. That just... and his other teammate got taken out in a wreck, so he's about the only car left from his stable left, and it's almost like a Hendrick car and a field full of Joe Gibbs cars, really, because he's got no help if these guys have affiliations with them. If these guys help each other, he's going to be basically left out to dry.
Yeah, he absolutely is. I wouldn't be surprised to see actually that 7 make a move to the outside, and I'm sure that 71 will follow him right through, but they're going to dogfight it out right to the end. They're not just going to ride in a single file lane and just give the win to Shane McKeechin. Shane would love that, but he knows that something's coming. A move is coming as they gained another 3/10 right now. That second group of the 42 of Andrew Berger and Josh Ball and Jason Altmans, they have made up another 3/10, but the problem is the laps are winding down. 7 to go this time by. So 7 laps to go here in the Stars Fell on Alabama 250, and man, it's just been a long green flag run we've had here tonight. 2 or 3 green flag pit stops in a row that these guys have to make, and that has spread this field out tremendously here tonight, and it's been a great show for all these guys. 1 caution coming early on in the race, and Gabe, it's been flat out green flag from the end. I mean, this has got to be record time. We're only an hour into this hour and 15 minutes into this 250-mile race, and these guys are setting off some blistering times here.
Yeah, ARCA can learn a thing or two from these guys, because they're absolutely flying around this racetrack, and Racing very clean. We've had a few isolated incidents that either didn't develop into wrecks or got onto the apron where iRacing doesn't trigger the caution automatically. So, we've been clean but lucky, really, because we could have had a couple more restarts. The guys on the tail end of the lead laps kind of getting loose in front of the leaders, but these guys, they kind of got loose in front of the leaders, but it stayed pretty clean. Very good race for Talladega, even though the field's spread out. It's still very exciting.
Yeah, it is absolutely. And you know what the exciting part is that we know it's not going to end in a single file line like this. These guys, even though there's only 3 of them up here in the top group, which that second group's catching. They gained another couple tenths that last time, so they're under 6 seconds back right now. So they are gaining some time. They're just running out of time to get it done. So we'll see this as the time or the laps continue to tick off right here. This time by 5 laps to go here at Dega. And 5 laps means only about 12, 13 miles still left to go here. And doesn't sound like much, but right now that 28's trying to figure out how he's going to defend this. Is he going to try to, is the 7 going to fake him high, go low? Is he going to fake low, go high? He's going to do something. That driver, the all-time winningest driver, Rodney Wofford, right there in second, is not going to just give this away. He's going to go and try for another win, and he's going to hope that 71 goes with him, because if Christian Peterson doesn't go with him, it's all for nothing.
But these guys, they have to keep in mind they can't not wait till the end of the last lap or 2 laps to go to make their move, because now we're in that threshold where a caution will end it. No green light checkers here on iRacing just of yet. Andy, I'm not going to let you rant here. I'm going to go ahead and run through it before it's out of our minds. We're going to go ahead. We're inside 5 laps to go, Andy. These guys are going to have to run hard, but they're going to have to play it smart. That goes for the entire field, not just the top 3 drivers. I would expect to even see the 7 of Rodney just pull out and take that 7 with him and, just kind of make his move early as the 71 moves to the outside of the racetrack. I think he's trying to break that momentum and try and gain a little bit of a run maybe on the 7 and use that to pass the 28.
Yeah, and it looks like as these laps click off, but the time's clicking off too. The 4th spot there, Andrew Berger, they made up 6 tenths that last time by, so they're really coming, that second group. They're going to run out of time. I've said that a couple of times now, but they are going to run out of time. It's unfortunate to see. I wish we had about another 20 laps to go just to see if these guys could catch them and what kind of finish that would bring this on here. And you talk about not waiting to the last lap. I really think at this point you almost have to. You don't want to make your move or show your move now, take the race lead, because then they're going to try a move on the last lap. I understand, obviously, a caution comes out at this point with 3 to go that it's over. You're going to sit in second or third. You're not going to have that opportunity to take it. But I really think you have to take that chance. Obviously, if you go for that move now and something could happen, you guys could end up wrecking, and you're going to give it to those guys that are 5 or 6 seconds back behind you. So I think for them, they really just got to keep what they're doing right now. They'll cross the line here, get 2 to go. So 2 to go, 2 laps, just over 5 miles left to go here, and they're going to have to just really try to plan it out, what they're going to do. And I just can't, it's coming, so I just can't wait. I want it to be the last lap right now.
And, like you said, these guys can wreck it. Your leaders may not be the winners when they come down to the checkered flag. This is the last lap where a caution will end it. Once we get back to the white flag, it's white flag until we get to the checkers. No cautions. So it's pretty much a free-for-all. 5 seconds back is the 4th spot of Andrew Berger, Josh Ball, Jason Almonds. These guys, they got a chance as lap cars. They split them as they just kind of snake their way through it. A little baby snake, really. Only 3 cars, but we're coming to the white flag.
Yeah, there it is. White flag for the final time into turn number 1, and no competition at all behind the in the rearview mirror for these 3. It's just all about them right now as they exit turn number 2 for the final time, and it's a big question now when and if that 7 car is going to make his move. They go up to the high side, which is kind of protected. Here goes Wofford now to the inside. He's got a nose on there. Now it's going to be a side-by-side battle for the lead. He didn't wait to the end. He made his move early in this run here. I think Christian Peterson kind of looking at that going, all right, what are we going to do here? We got a momentum coming now. Is Shane McKeechin going to look to the outside off turn number 4? He's got the help from Christian Peterson now.
To the inside.
Peterson, now to the inside. 3 wide through the tri-oval. Look at McKeechin down to block that bottom side, and he's going to win at Talladega.
What
Wow.
a finish! That's the most exciting finish I've seen with 3 cars.
Wow.
That 3, with only 3 cars there, that gave them the chance to make their own moves. They didn't have to worry about the momentum where the pack was coming. It was just a free for all. I like that.
I love the move that I know it didn't work for Christian Peterson, but I love that move he just made right there. That was amazing. Just he gave that push to get his momentum, to get his speed up off of turn number 4. He gave that push to Shane McKeechin. Ultimately, that gave Shane the win. But I like his move all the way down to the bottom, and I think that 7 just broke his momentum just enough that he wasn't able to get up next to Shane McKeechin to get the opportunity to get that win. But that was a great battle, a great finish there for those guys, and a good way to end this race here tonight. Only one caution, so congratulations to everybody in the field here tonight, and a great job by everyone putting this thing together. That was just awesome to see.
Absolutely amazing finish as the 28 burns it down. Shane McKeechin, he earned that win. He absolutely just made good moves. He was able to. Oh, as the 7 comes flipping.
That was pretty interesting. I hope we got that on camera.
Oh God!
Wow. Rodney Wofford doing some celebrating of his own there for 3rd place.
He's doing a Carl Edwards backflip the extreme way.
I guess so. Wow. That was amazing.
Wow, he flipped over the 51.
Unbelievable right there. These guys know how to get it done. They know how to have fun when it's all over,
They know how
too.
to party.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So, with that said, that was the end of the race here tonight, and we're going to take a quick moment. When we come back, we're going to talk to our top 3 finishers, including our race winner here tonight, the 28 of Shane McKeechin. A big win, a much-needed win that he's needed over the past few months. So, it will be good to talk to him in Victory Lane once again here at the iSuper Speedway Series. But you've been watching the Stars Fell on Alabama 250 on LSRTV, the voice of sim racing. Welcome back here to Talladega, Alabama, and we just concluded the Stars Fell on Alabama 250 here on LSRTV and iRacing Live, and a big winner here tonight. We'll take you through a full field rundown. The big winner coming home with his first victory of the season, the 28 of Shane McKeechin. Second was Christian Peterson. Rodney Wofford came home in that 3rd spot. 4th went to Andrew Berger. Josh Ball came home in that 5th spot. 6th went to Jason Altmans. Greg Hooks finished 7th. 8th was Chris Passini. Frank Basilia finished 9th. And Sean Bounty rounded out the top 10.
11th goes to the 14, Paul Servant. He led most of the first half of this race and just fell back toward the end after the pit stops. 12th goes to Dana Osborne. He was right there with him, stuck with him the whole race. William Roberts Jr. finishes 13th. 14 goes to Ryan Keese. Donnie Garantano in the 15th position. 1 lap down, driver's 16th, Matt Quick. Mark Jorgensen in the 88 finishes 17th. 18th, Rod Flagg, 1 lap down also in the 26th. Justin Anderson, Ray Rittenauer in the 20th position.
21st went to Chad Keene. Alex Hallinar come home 22nd. 23rd went to Corey Henry. David Anderson finished 24th. 25th went to Lewis Calderon. Daniel Ferguson finished 26th. 27th was Derek Walker. Kelly Dahl came home in that 28th spot. 29th on the grid was Brandon Montsevice. And Glenn Hedrick finished 30th.
31st goes to Kent Connolly in the 088. Raymond Evans in the 32nd position, 33rd, Dwayne Cooper. Dan Harrington set the Merchant, blown motor in the first couple laps and was able to get back on track, but pulled it off toward the end in 35th. Kyle Manger in the 99 and 36, 12 laps down. 37th, Mark Brown, Sean Turner, Tommy Hall, and Casey Malone, your winner from a couple weeks ago, in the 40th position, 62 laps down.
Well, with that said, we're going to start talking to our top three finishers here tonight. And first, I've caught up with Rodney Wofford. And Rodney Wofford, of course, one of the all-time winningest drivers here in the I Super Speedway Series. And he comes home tonight with the opportunity to get the win, but he ends up with the third place finish. Rodney, how long, I guess, were you trying to plan and figure out your move there at the end of that race when it was just the three of you after those pit stops?
Right there at the last second when I did it. That was pretty much it. Just wanted to get a good, clean finish and bring home a clean car there.
Well, you were able to do that until the flips after the race, but overall, it was a pretty interesting race. A lot of green flag action, which is good to see. It plays a lot into fuel strategy, when you're going to pit, when not to pit. It seemed like the three of you guys decided to short pit at the end. You guys, when you decided to do that, you guys were some 6 seconds back of those the top three there with the 48 leading the way, and it seemed like, wow, that is the short pit going to work? Well, it actually did. You guys came out almost 7 seconds ahead once everything cycled through. Was that kind of the idea of making the short pit to give you that advantage?
Yeah, we wanted to get in, get fuel, get out there, get to Holland. It was a great job there on our pits. We had a little mishap, but we got back together and got out there and did what we could do.
Well, it was definitely the cleanest of all the pit stops we saw at the end of the race. The three of you were able to come down, get your service done, get back out on the racetrack. And then once you did, you guys really hooked up well. The three of you together were able to keep the pace going, keep enough speed in there. Obviously, those guys were catching you at the end there, but obviously not enough time to get it done. For you, though, Rodney, a good bounce back for you. Get yourself a top three podium finish tonight. Sponsor shout-outs. Who helps you get it done?
I got to thank Hype. Give a shout out to Miss Bassini, Chris for the paints, and Sixth Man over there.
Well, we congratulate you again on this top three finish here tonight and look forward to seeing you again next week.
All right, thank you guys. Take care.
There you have it, our third place finisher here tonight, Rodney Wofford. And now I'm going to send it down further down pit road, and Christian Peterson is caught up with Gabe.
Down here on the end of pit road, comes home second, almost got to the lead with a great move, almost made it work in that 71 car. Christian, congratulations on your second place finish tonight. You think he almost had it?
Yeah, I was making my plans to make the move, like 10 laps early. It was three of us and we were kind of checked out from the rest of the field. I knew it was going to be a race between the three of us, and Rodney surprised me with the move he made on the backstretch. I didn't expect him to go low. I actually expected him to wait for me off of 4 and make the run. And I think if that happened, I could have got it. But all in all, my goal was to go with the guy on top, push him, give him a shove, and then just shoot to the bottom like I did. And it almost got to us, but I gave Shane a little bit too big of a run, and he got clear. And it was a great finish, to be honest, between the three of us.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and ask you. The golden question: Did you like it with just the three guys, you three, running for the win, or did you more enjoy it? With everybody coming to the win, the entire pack 2x2 just coming to the line. Which one would you rather want?
That's tough to say. I mean, personally, I like playing throughout the whole race. Playing strategy and not kind of wait until the last lap for everything to fold out or unfold and the whole pack be there. I personally, I like the You know, if you can out strategize everybody and get a couple cars out front to the lead, I like that. You know, it plays out more of the whole race instead of like the last 20 laps, you know?
Yeah, you guys had a great race. The no cautions. We only had one caution in the entire race, and that gave you the opportunity to out strategize the guys. And you know, you guys actually put a lot of racing series to shame just by 94 laps and one caution. That's got to be pretty surprising.
I mean, yeah, I mean, we were on a strategy from the very beginning. We we were a couple laps short. We thought we were going to be able to make it with one stop, and then we realized that the fuel was burning off really fast. I guess we've been used to Daytona, but we actually we short pitted there on the last stop. Played that strategy. We thought 4 cars were going to be better than 3. But we had a little mishap on getting onto pit road. One of our teammates got shoved out into the grass. He had to go around another lap, and then everything unfolded from there. But all in all, the strategy definitely played off this endurance race. It's one of my favorite formats that we run in this league, to be honest.
Yeah, I was about to ask you. Glad to be back in the normal way of doing things instead of the 30-lap shootouts.
Yeah, the 30 lap shootouts were interesting. I definitely enjoyed it, and it was definitely a different kind of ball game than these races. But this is my kind of racing, and I love all the kind of formats we have here. It's just everybody's got their preference, you know.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Chris, one last question: who gets it done on that 71?
Crazy. I mean, all the guys at 6-man. Shane, he did a hell of a job. I know he feels bad about getting into Kyle on pit road, but things happen. We'll work on that as a team, and we'll come back stronger next week. And you guys for putting on the broadcast, and Rod obviously for putting on the league.
All right, Christian, congratulations on your second place finish. Andy, I believe you've caught up with our winner.
That's right. I am down
Thanks,
here
guys.
in victory lane again, and for the second time here in our Friday night doubleheader, and of course this time I able to catch up with tonight's winner here after 250 miles. Shane, you got to be a little bit tired. The strategy, a lot of green flag racing. There was no time to relax really in this race, and it really came down to entrance and exits of pit road and being able to go in and out with teammates and with other drivers. And it looked like a couple of those pit stops, you had some mistakes, but you were able to rebound from them and come out with the victory here tonight.
Yeah, one big mistake. First of all, I want to, apologize to teammate Kyle Manger. I mean, that last pit stop, I really messed him up there. He helped us out. I mean, the contact actually shot me into my pit stall, and I was able to get the quick repair done and get back out. And it's a crazy night. The pits there, they were definitely slippery from not taking any tires.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, typically green flag pit stops at any of the plate tracks always seem to play havoc in some guys' races, and we saw a bunch of guys that were up towards the front in the top 5, top 10 that had issues and ended up finishing in the 20. So we talk about mistakes happening, and typically it's not on the racetrack that the ones that cause the most havoc. It's the ones on pit road. And is that something you and your teammates try to practice week in and week out? Just something to as far as these races? I mean, you guys all know how to get around these plate tracks as far as the drafting and things like that. So is that one of the main things you guys try to focus on, is getting on and off pit road?
Yeah, well, I think that we've got a pretty good concept of it. Usually that's usually where we pick up our spots is getting on and off pit road, and it's something we try to do. We'll practice a little, before and after, or before qualifying, and try to see what the brakes are going to do, because with the setup they do slide a lot.
Yeah, they definitely do. And obviously, not using brakes on the racetrack, they get a little cool too. So it makes it real tough to get slowed down. But tonight, you guys were able to overcome it. You made a good job there. I got to ask you, though, on that last lap, it seemed kind of early when that 7 took the move there going into turn number 3. Were you surprised at that at all? And second on that, coming off of turn number 4, you got a real good push from the 71, but he was saying it was a little bit too much. He wished he didn't give you that much, but that was a great move you did. When once you cleared that 7, you dropped right down in front of him and able to block him off to the end.
Yeah, these guys at 6, man, they know Christian and Seth and Kyle, these guys, they know how to run these tracks and they know how to work the draft. And I knew Rodney was going to make a move there, and he's great. I didn't know when it was coming, but luckily, with Christian, he's aiming for the win also. So he had to, use me as a, for the draft to get me up there. And luckily, he gave me a hard enough bump. It shot me past the 7, and then I was able to clear them both and secure the bottom.
Well, that you did. You come home with the victory. You picked up 2 wins last season, got yourself into the chase, and now this season you get your first one on the year. And once again, you knocked yourself into the championship when that comes down towards the end of the season. So from this point on for you, is it pretty much just try to get some more wins, maybe help some of your teammates get into the championship hunt also?
Yeah, definitely. That's our main goal now, is to help our teammates out at 6th man. They brought me on and it's definitely helped me out a lot, and I look to return the favor.
Well, we will look forward to that with the weeks to come here tonight. Congratulations again, Shane, on a great win and the opportunity to punch your ticket into the chase, and we congratulate you on that. And any more sponsors or shout outs you want to give here?
Yeah, just shout out to the team and P Money Designs for this paint scheme he's got for me, and you know, can't say it enough. We're thinking about Laura and wishing her the best. But thanks to all you guys, and thanks to Rod.
Well, we appreciate that, and congratulations again on the win, and we'll see you next week at Daytona.
Thank you.
There you have it. Our race winner here tonight for the Stars Fell on Alabama 250. It was Shane McEachin picking up the victory. First one on the season here this year. We talked about it. He got 2 wins last season. He's already got the one now. He's locked himself into the chase now at this point. That's got to be a pretty good feeling, like we talked about with other guys like Sean Bounty being a rookie in the season, getting his win a couple weeks ago. And then, of course, Malone getting his win last week. So a couple of rookies getting in there, but now we see a veteran, Shane McEachin, also qualifying himself for the championship in a few weeks. So a pretty cool deal for that. And, I mean, ultimately, Gabe, I mean, that's what the regular season's about, getting that win, getting yourself locked in. And then, like he said, now it's time he help his teammates, get other guys, Christian Peterson, in there with the win and get these guys locked in for the championship run as well.
Yeah, that's one thing you're going to want to just look out for in the next few weeks. That that car of Shane, he is not going to be leading up front if he can help it. He is going to be pushing on the back bumper of his teammates. I expect him just to be just ball to the wall, just trying to get his teammates into the chase.
Absolutely. And with that said, though, it's been a fantastic night. Your second week in a row, you're getting to join us on our Friday night doubleheader, and it's been fun. I don't know. We might have to kick Evan out of here and keep you in here if you want to go.
Well, I mean, we just give him lifetime Monster Jam tickets, and he'll never come back.
Oh, you got that right. But no, we miss you, Evan. We really do. But we thank you, Gabe, obviously, for jumping in here and helping out, and enjoyed having you here. And it's been a lot of fun the last couple of weeks doing this, and hopefully we'll get to do a lot more as the weeks go on.
Oh, yeah, thank you, Andy. I really enjoyed working with you guys.
We love it as well, and we want to thank everybody who gets it done and helps us out here. Obviously, the Rod Car Truck Tour every Friday night, and of course, we can't forget about the IROC Series that has 4 races as well throughout the season on Friday nights as well, part of the doubleheader. You see exclusively right here on LSRTV and iRacing Live, and we want to keep you up to date for more on anything of this series. You can visit them on the web at iSuperspeedway.com. Of course, at Twitter, follow them there at iSuperspeedway, and on Facebook at facebook.com/iSuperspeedway. And don't forget to stay tuned and up to date with LSRTV with all the upcoming broadcasts we have going on, including tomorrow night, the season opener of the USR Truck Series right here on LSRTV. And of course, you can see all the rest of the racing action with ASCORs and RSR and everything that goes on all week long at livesimracing.com and at facebook.com/livesimracingtv. With that said, I want to thank Gabriel Wood for joining me in the booth here tonight, and of course, our executive producer, Cisco Scaramuza, doing all that wonderful behind-the-scenes action that he does getting that picture to you. We want to thank all of you for tuning in tonight. Hope you have a good night and have a good weekend. We'll see you next time right here on LSRTV.